Y'all, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be going over my May wrap up. I know it's August. I'm going to go over May, June, and July, which are going to be fairly quick because July I only read 2 books. So June was a great reading month for me, and May was okay. I read 6 books. Yeah, in May I read 6 books. So I've definitely been MIA because I'm in the process of moving. It's just like a lot going on, a lot of moving parts, so on and so forth. So I've been kind of off, and I've been off with my reading as well. And I'm ready to get back to it because I do have a goal this year. I'm not going to tell y'all what the goal is. I'll tell y'all later, but I do have a goal. I wanted to meet the goal. I was doing good. I was doing really well up until July. And yeah, I just need to get back on track. But let's go ahead and hop into this video. I'm going to show you guys the books that I read in May, what I liked, what I didn't like, so on and so forth. And also keep in mind that I'm not a new reader, but this 2024 has been the year that I've jumped back into reading fully. So I'm going to go in order the way I read the books. These are all the books that I read in the month of May. So the first book is The Coworker. I think I read this first, or this is the first book that I finished in the month of May. Possibly, maybe, I don't know. But I loved The Coworker. The Coworker was so entertaining. Y'all, if y'all haven't read a Freida McFadden book, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because this, when I tell you this was so good, and now that I think I've read 4 of her books now. Like I've read The Housemaid's Secret, Never Lie, The Coworker. Yeah, so 4 books. Oh no, 5, The Teacher. That'll be in my, coming up in the month of June, the book that I'm going to show you next. But The Coworker was so good. It was so good. It kept me on the edge of my seat. And I would say this is a book for anyone who feels like they don't belong. That was definitely the main character in this book. Well, actually, the person who went missing, not the main character. Well, the book is about both of them. But for anyone who felt like they didn't belong, Dawn is definitely that person. And then Natalie is like the person that's beautiful, popular, X, Y, and Z. And yes, is literally like so crazy. So crazy. But I never would have guessed what happened at the end, like how it all ties together. And it was a great read. Definitely go out and get it. So the synopsis of this, I don't really want to read it, is that Dawn is the perfect employee. She goes missing. Natalie, her coworker, begins to look for her. And that's all you need to know. Go pick up the book. Go pick it up. Okay, next we have Beach Read. We have Beach Read by Emily Henry. And y'all, this was probably this was my least favorite book that I read in the month of May. I don't know why it took me so long to get through this one. I feel like I started reading this in April, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, but I feel like I started reading this in April, and it just was so hard for me to get through this. And the reason why I picked it up is because people say they love Emily Henry's writing, and maybe I should have read a different book first. I also have The Happy Place, and I also have Funny Story by her. So I have a couple other books that I'm going to jump into by her, but this one, I think it moved too slowly for me. And maybe because I feel like it's meant to be read in one sitting. Maybe that's what it is, because the way January and Augustus were moving was just so, it was so slow. And I just was like, okay, it's just not for me. It's not for me. But anyways, Augustus Everett is an acclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes a best-selling romance. When she pens a happily ever after, he kills off his entire cast. They're polar opposites. In fact, the only thing they have in common is that for the next 3 months, they're living in neighboring beach houses, broke and bogged down with writer's block. Then one hazy evening, one thing leads to another, and they strike a deal designed to force them out of their creative ruts. Augustus will spend the summer writing something happy, and January will pen the next great American novel. She'll take him on field trips worthy of any rom-com montage, and he'll take her to interview surviving members of Backwoods Death Cult, obviously. Everyone will finish a book, and no one will fall in love, really. It was really cute, though. Once I got to that point in the book, and I can't tell you what point that is, you'll probably have to figure that out for yourself. But once I got to that point in the book where I was like, okay, now we're picking up speed. Now we're going somewhere. I really enjoyed it. But starting off, this was very hard for me to get into. But in the end, it all came together and I appreciated the book. I enjoyed it. All right. So next we have Jurassic Park. So my friend that I've been reading books with was kind of surprised that I was reading this book. But I really don't know why, because, well, I grew up on Jurassic Park. My dad showed us the movies when we were young, and it's just something that we've always watched in our house. Like I remember Jurassic Park 3 coming out and going to the movies to see that. Obviously, I know he only wrote 2 books, but I remember vividly like going to see that movie with my whole family. And also when they, started the series back up again in 2015, X, Y, and Z. And so Jurassic Park has always been something that has interested me. And I just wanted to know how the book differed from the movie. And the movie is definitely just a blip on the screen. It's very like if you're watching a commercial, of the whole book. That's what the movie is. And, obviously they can't go into that much detail in the movie. But I thought that the book goes into great detail. It explains everything much more. I enjoy both. I really, really do. And after I read this, I watched the movie to just compare them in my mind. And I realized that, you know, books always trump the movie. But I really, really do enjoy both of these. And I'm also reading The Lost World. I've been reading The Lost World for a little bit now. I haven't been reading it consistently, but I wanted to read these two. And I would definitely say this one is in like one of my top books of the year because I enjoyed it that much. And y'all look, with the small print too, like I read all of this. And I actually read this when me and my husband went to Virginia Beach for our birthday. I read this at the beach and I loved it. I love this book. Rest in peace to him. Okay, so next we have the Magnolia Park series. These are the last 2 books that I read in the month of May. And let me tell y'all, I would say I'm a Daisy girl, but I appreciate Magnolia, but I'm a Daisy girl, if that makes any sense. And if you've read the books, you know what I'm talking about. But I was actually reading Magnolia Parks first. And then after I read Magnolia Parks, because the mouth drop of this book is at the end. It's at the end. And when you get to the end of this, you're like, okay, I definitely need to read Daisy Hates because you need to know what happens next. And I ended up reading, which you're going to see in the month of June, I read the next 2 books. So I'm literally on the last book, y'all, because one thing about me is like I do, and I got this from Shanti Schroeder. If you watch her booktube channel, she talks about these books all the time. And she says this is a 5-star series. And I completely understand why she says that, because it's like you're watching TV in a book. And there's no other way to explain, not no other way, but that's a great way to explain it, because I definitely felt like I was watching a sitcom. I felt like I was watching a sitcom. These two, Magnolia and BJ, yeah, they can run you up a wall. But Daisy and Christian, Daisy and Christian, I love these two. I love these two. I love Magnolia and BJ as well, but I love Daisy and Christian. I really, really do. Daisy has a special place in my heart just because of everything that she's been through. Not saying Magnolia hasn't been through things as well. She definitely did. She definitely went through a lot. I appreciate these two, this series, like loved it. Loved it. I really, and I went into these books thinking that I wasn't going to like them. So I was quite pleased when, as soon as I finished Magnolia Parks, I picked up Daisy Hates, and I was right to buy the second book, because as soon as I was done, as soon as I jumped into Daisy Hates, I had to go and buy the next two books, the next three books, because I was like, okay, I'm going to finish this series. I'm going to finish it. It's cute, very cutesy, very demure. So yeah, love these books. And it was like a like that kind of sneaks up on you with these, especially with Magnolia. She sneaks up on you and she's like, come on, like me. And you have to like her. Like you have to. Because she's your friend. She's your friend. And Daisy's that friend who don't want to be your friend. She's like, get out of my face. And yeah, I like both of them. And I feel like that's probably like two sides to each person. So now we're going to jump into the books that I read in the month of June, and let's get started with that. All right, so these are all the books that I read in the month of June. And I don't know why I put the first book last, but anyways, we're going to jump into that. So, literally, like I was saying, how I enjoyed Magnolia Parks, I had to go and read The Long Way Home. The Long Way Home, because by this book, they're mature, they've gone through some things, and you start to learn the backstory of what's really going on with these people, this friend group in London. And that was another thing that kind of threw me off, is that I didn't think I would like it that much, because they're in in a different country. And I know that's closed-minded, shallow, whatever. But I'm just talking about myself. Like, I know myself, and I didn't know if I would like it. And I really, really enjoyed it. You need to read these. If you like TV shows, if you want to watch a TV show on a book, in a book, then read these. I'm interested to see how this would sound on Audible, like all the different characters. Because I'm not going to tell you that it's not a lot to keep up with. It's definitely a lot to keep up with, but you keep up with so much more. So why can't you keep up with the characters? Like, these books are good. They're good. So next we have Never Lie by Frida McFadden. And this one was very much, I don't know. I enjoyed Never Lie, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite. And maybe that's because I read The Housemaid first. I read The Housemaid first, and I enjoyed The Housemaid more, but I did enjoy this one. And I wasn't expecting the end. And I think that's what was so crazy, because I was like, oh my gosh, like the end was so crazy. Yeah, it really was. So I'm going to read the back of this one for y'all. Sometimes the truth kills. Newlyweds Trisha and Ethan are searching for the house of their dreams. They think they found it when they visit the remote manor that once belonged to Dr. Adrian Hale, a renowned psychiatrist who vanished without a trace years ago. When a violent winter storm traps them at the estate, the house begins to lose its appeal. Stuck inside and growing restless, Trisha stumbles on a collection of audio transcripts from Dr. Hale's sessions with patients. As Trisha listens to the cassette tape, she learns about the terrifying chain of events leading up to the doctor's mysterious disappearance. And that's all you need to know. Pick it up. And I know a lot of people like love this one more than The Housemaid. I don't know, The Housemaid just spoke to me more. This one, definitely 5 stars though. Like I love this, enjoyed it, would read it again. This one, I definitely enjoyed this book. All right, so next we have Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. And I already told y'all, go ahead and pick up the series because you need to. And you're either, I definitely understand now when people say you're either a Daisy girl or Magnolia girl. You're either a Daisy girl or a Magnolia girl. But you can definitely be a mixture of both. They both have their different places and they are both people to be respected and honored. And I appreciate both of them, the different perspectives that they bring to the table. This one, which is the fourth book in the series, definitely brings everything full circle. And yeah, their worlds kind of interact and collide. Because I feel like the first two is like setting the groundwork. So Magnolia Parks sets up her life, how she grew up, who she is, all that kind of stuff. And then Daisy Haight sets up her life, all she's been through X, Y, and Z. And then the two in between are going to bring everything together. So the one that I just mentioned and this one, they bring everything together. And it's just a great series. It's a great series. I don't want to read the back of these because I don't want y'all to have any type of spoilers or anything, but I guess I will read the back of this one. Daisy Hayes thought she left everything about her old life in the past, the crime, her family, and the man she loves. But when her safety is threatened once again, she finds herself back under the watchful eyes of her gang lord brother Julian and her ex-boyfriend Christian, both desperate to keep her safe. And that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. And then they bring everything together. And I already only read a paragraph because, like I said, I just want y'all to go pick it up. Just go pick it up. All right, next we have The Teacher, another Frida McFadden book. Y'all, I was really feeling her this month because literally, I think I forgot to tell y'all about, a book that I read last month, but it was on Kindle. So I'm going to get to that. But I was really feeling Frida McFadden books this month because I always finish them in like 2 days, a day. Like it's a very quick read, a very good story. And this one was no different. It was a great ride, definitely. So this one is, so let's read the back of this one. Lesson number 1, trust no one. Eve has a good life. She gets up each day, gets a kiss from her husband, and heads off to teach math at the local high school. All is as it should be, except last year, Kasem High was rocked by a scandal involving a student-teacher affair with one student, Addie, at its center. But Eve knows there is far more to these ugly rumors than meets the eye. Addie can't be trusted. She lies, she hurts people, she destroys lives. At least that's what everyone says, but nobody knows the real Addie. Nobody knows the secrets that could destroy her if people at the school found out. And when Eve discovers the shocking truth, Addie will do anything to keep her quiet. And that right there, that was an understatement because, yeah, go read it. Go read The Teacher. I want to say between The Teacher and Never Lie, like which one did I like the most? I'm going to say The Teacher. Because it's not because it's significantly thicker, but The Teacher because I liked how the end was, and this one was very, very different. This one, I guess I didn't see it coming. Both of them, I know I said both of them, I did not see it coming. But The Teacher, I don't know, I guess because I dealt with a high school and students, it just was like, okay, everybody could have experienced this or has at least probably gone through high school, and they know the type of environment that Addie was in, and you've all had that one teacher that you probably don't like. So, yeah, very, very good books. Okay, next we have Grown. This is also about a high school student. Grown is by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is a great book. I read this book in 2 days, and I'm not going to say it's about R. Kelly because I think she says that it's not about, it's a fictional book. It's not about anybody real. But yeah, definitely gave R. Kelly vibes. If you've watched any of the documentaries about R. Kelly, then you know what I'm talking about. Because he was someone who had gained the trust of parents and was able to take away these young women from their families. And they were essentially lost, essentially. But let me read the blurb on the back. When legendary R&B artist Corey Fields spots Enchanted Jones at an audition, her dreams of being a famous singer take flight until Enchanted wakes up with blood on her hands and zero memory of the previous night. Who killed Corey Fields? Crazy. Crazy, right? And what drew me to this book is the fact that she was in high school. Also, how it's written. It's written so lyrical because I believe, the main character is a singer. And I had seen this book so many times, but I'm so happy that I ordered it on Amazon and started reading it because, y'all, it was such a good book. Such a good book. Like, this made me want to read her whole catalog of writing because I enjoyed this book so much and it went so smoothly. I'm telling you, when you pick it up, you're not going to want to put it down. So lyrical, so lyrical. Love this book. All right, next for June, we have, and I think I'm missing one book. Next for June, we have When I Think of You. And I love this cover. Look at this cover. So beautiful. So, so beautiful. This book spoke to me so much. It spoke to me so much because the main character was a film student in New York. Don't remember the school, but I'm going to read y'all the blurb in a minute. She was a student at a New York film school. She graduates and she tries to go into her field, what she studied for. She ends up working a secretary-like position and bumping into her ex who happens to offer her a job because he knew how she was at college and he knew that she was a great person, asset to have on his team. Things go haywire. It's a second chance love story. And yeah, I love the story so much about the films. I consider myself, well, I'm not going to say I consider myself a cinephile, but I love films. I love movies. I love going to watch a good movie. And that spoke to this part of me, her being in film school, wanting to make films. I didn't go to film school, but I definitely am someone who wants to make films. You want your art to be presented a certain way, and you'll do anything and everything to make sure that vision is met and put out to the masses the way you want it to be put out. And these two characters, they go on that journey. They go on that journey. So this is, I believe, a debut author, or this is her debut book. And the author, I think she did go to film school. So I love that for her. Kalia Wilson has paid her dues, but endless days spent behind the reception desk at a flashy film studio have only pushed her movie making goals further out of reach. That is, until a surprise reunion presents an opportunity that could make her career or break her heart a second time. 7 years ago, Kalia's whirlwind college romance with Danny Prescott crashed and burned. While her career has stalled, his star is on the rise. So when the hotshot director reappears offering her a job on his next major production, it's a shock to her system. Working with Danny may reignite the passion and promise of their film school days, but trusting him again won't come as easily. And that's all you need to know. Pick up the book. Pick up the book, y'all. Love this book. Definitely 5 stars. It's not for everybody. The type of men that are in these books is not for everybody, but I loved that book. And then I'm going to go over the 2 books that I read in July. Monday's Not Coming and Part of Your World. Monday's Not Coming is still in my head. And I read this a month ago. So sad. Actually, a lot of people said, read this book, read this book, read this book. On TikTok, I kept seeing this book in rotation. And of course, I was like, okay, I'm going to pick up the book. And this is another Tiffany D. Jackson book. And I'm telling you, you won't want to put it down. You won't want to put it down. Based on a real case. Again, so sad, heartbreaking. Just an emotional roller coaster. An emotional roller coaster. This is based on 2 friends. They're supposed to go to 8th grade, I think. And then her best friend disappears. And she's the only one looking for her. Nobody else seems concerned. And it's just sad, y'all. It's so sad. So sad. But Monday's Not Coming. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You definitely need to read this book. Read this book. And then next we have Part of Your World. I love this book. I love this book because after that one, after Monday's Not Coming, which was a great book, by the way, but sad, I needed something kind of happy. So I picked up Part of Your World because I was like, you know what? I need something kind of happy. Like, I need a romance in my life. And I love how this is about 2 people from, different sides of the railroad tracks, per se. She comes from money, he doesn't, and they end up falling in love. And how they navigate through that is what makes this book worthwhile. How they navigate through that. It's a bumpy road, for sure. Definitely a bumpy road. But I enjoyed the 2 books that I read in July. Great, great books. So also, I'm going to go over quickly the books that I read on Kindle that I didn't mention. So in the month of June, I read Dear Vicky, Body Count, Don't Call Me Crazy, and Captured Secrets. So Dear Vicky, hopefully I can display it. Dear Vicky is about a customer service worker at a grocery store who falls in love with a customer based off of a very small, short, quick interaction. And I thought that was the craziest thing because I was like, this can't be real. Like, the book is unhinged. It's crazy. People actually think like, there are people in the world who actually think like this. If you want something crazy and unhinged, please go read Dear Vicky. Please go read it. It's by Octavia Grant. I'm pretty sure it's free on Kindle. Go read the book, Dear Vicky. And it's less than 100 pages. It's so crazy, y'all. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? Because it's just crazy. It's crazy. So next by her, because after I read, actually the first book that I read from her was called Work Husband. And I got that recommendation from Chauncey Stroder. And that was the book that I read in the month of May that I didn't talk about. And after I read that one, I was like, okay, I need to go read more by her. So the next book that I read by her was Dear Vicky. And then the next book that I read by her was called Body Count. Body Count is about a woman who has no faith in relationships, jumps from person to person, hence the name Body Count. And when I tell y'all that book was crazy, it was crazy. It wasn't as crazy as Dear Vicky though. I would definitely put Dear Vicky above Body Count because Body Count, the ending wasn't as crazy as Dear Vicky. It wasn't as crazy. Body Count is more about revenge. It's more about revenge. Dear Vicky is about, he thinks that he's in love with someone who is not in love with him, doesn't even know him. So, yeah. But Body Count was someone that this lady knew. She knew this person. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. If you want something unhinged but not as crazy as Dear Vicky, pick up Body Count. And then the next one that I have is called Don't Call Me Crazy. Don't Call Me Crazy was about a crazy person. It was about a crazy person. She was crazy. I believe this is the one where, yes, this is the one where the lady is in prison and she gets interviewed. She gets interviewed by a reporter. But let me check to make sure because I don't want to tell y'all the wrong thing. This is also by Octavia Grant. Yes, this is the one where the lady goes to interview her at a prison, a high security prison. I'm going to read the blurb for this one. Award-winning investigative reporter Ivory Addison has been on the scene of every local, national, and international event deemed newsworthy. Her work ethic has a certain je ne sais quoi that has not gone unnoticed, but is that a good thing? When television execs offer top dollar for Ivory to host her own true crime show, is it to advance her career or help uncover secrets? As Ivory interviews Amalia Havoc, she can't help but wonder if she bit off more than she could chew by accepting this new opportunity. And that is that because, yeah, it's just like when I say all the books that I've read by Octavia Grant are unhinged, they're unhinged. And Shanti Schroeder described it best when she said it's like watching, not trash TV, but like watching reality TV. It's like that, but in a book. Because you're like, why am I watching this? But you can't stop watching. You continue to watch. It's like that. It's like that. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. So Don't Call Me Crazy. Yeah. Go pick it up. Go read it. Tell me what you think. And then we have Captured Secrets. Captured Secrets was the last one that I read in the month of June. Okay, this one was also about revenge. This one was about revenge. Okay, Andrea Riley prides herself on being a loving mother and devoted wife. Her life is simple and perfect, but unbeknownst to her loving family, Andrea Riley has secrets. Andrea, formerly known as the infamous Brittany Bell, lived a life filled with debauchery. In the past, no act was too heinous when it came to getting what she wanted except one. To escape her checkered past, she changed her name and location in hopes of having a clean start. Unfortunately, her steps to erase her wrongdoings were not enough to keep her out of harm's way. This one was about revenge, and you're going to be shocked. Yet again, you're going to be shocked. I'm telling you, like, you're going to be like, what is this? Why am I reading this? But you can't stop reading. Captured Secrets. If I had to rank her books, I would definitely say Work Husband. So it's going to go Work Husband, Dear Vicky. They're both on the same level, right? Work Husband, Dear Vicky. Both crazy. Then It's going to go Don't Call Me Crazy. And then we've got Captured Secrets and Body Count. All the short books that I've read in the past, since May, June. Well, I only read short books in May and June. I didn't read any short books in July. But all the short books that I've read have been from her. And I'm going to continue reading her books because it's just interesting and I want to continue reading. So, yeah, those are all the books that I've read in the past 3 months. Hopefully, I can do one of these where it's not so late after the month has ended. But I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.